Welcome back to more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Last time we received a message from Olimar, so this time we're continuing to explore the Twilight River. Alright, let's take out 50 winged Pikmin, 30 yellow Pikmin, and 20 rock Pikmin. If we hurry through where the stone wall was, we can actually make it to the very first lily pad at the start of each day. This is actually a surprisingly generous timing window, so with all of our Pikmin in tow, we can ride this through the tunnel to the second half of the Twilight River. Olimar must be up there. Alright, let's have the yellow Pikmin walk on this wall, and over here we have an enemy that we fought yesterday that I didn't get a chance to talk about, the Arachnode. As you can tell, charging with winged Pikmin is very effective, but alternatively, you can actually toss a Pikmin into the web to lure it lower so you can reach it with other types of Pikmin. Over here, we can also set up a shortcut for later. So now we don't have to ride the lily pad to get back to this section of the Twilight River. On the way back to the yellow Pikmin, I'm going to do something extremely random that I'll explain afterwards. Oh no, water is lethal to Pikmin! I need to blow the whistle with B to call the Pikmin back onto land. Help panicking Pikmin by using your whistle. The reason I did that is I didn't want that exploration note to pop up during a critical moment. We have quite a few bosses coming up shortly that are fought near water, and I definitely don't want that interrupting the flow of the fight. Over here, we have some desiccated skitter leaves, along with another data file, and beyond this area, we have a ton of orange bulb orbs. Luckily, we won't have to fight them, but we'll deal with that later. We should also have a new enemy, the Nectarous Dandlefly. As the name implies, if you land a direct hit, it'll drop a ton of nectar, which is good because most of our winged Pikmin are leaves, and again, because they tend to be a little bit weaker than the other types of Pikmin, this will help us in terms of combat and actually completing various tasks. We also have a new type of gate over here. I wonder if we can lift this up. We'll try that out later, but for now, let's work on this electric wall, and in the meantime, I want to take the winged Pikmin to fight the Skeeter Skate over here. Alright, with that taken care of, we also have some bridge pieces. You're actually supposed to toss Pikmin from this upper ledge here, but there is actually a way to charge Pikmin so that they actually can get the bridge pieces in the water. You kind of have to stand in a particular spot, I find. This might take a couple of tries to actually find the right spot to stand in. There it is, and we're good to go. We actually do have to go up here anyway, though, because we need this data file, but this will save a little bit of time. We also have another Arachnode over there. So our goal for today is to set up a bridge to the tree where Olimar is. We have to find multiple sets of bridge pieces, but before we go back to finding more bridge pieces, I'm guessing the yellow Pikmin are done. Yes, they are. So we'll round up everyone and investigate something else. If we go over here, there's a data file that also will pop up automatically. I consider myself to be a hardened veteran of planetary exploration now. With so many battles under my space belt, I no longer have need for this little item. I've since buried it nearby. Hopefully someone will be able to get use out of it. Captain Olimar. As advertised, we can lock onto this dirt pile over here, so let's toss some yellow Pikmin to dig this up, and we'll take the other Pikmin and hop onto another lily pad. we want to toss the rock Pikmin up to this ledge using the mushroom, and we also want to toss 2 captains. If we could reach that mushroom... This is actually a lot harder in the Wii U version because of the motion controls, if you're using the Wii Remote, for example. It's very easy to actually miss a throw because of the cursor kind of jittering because of the motion. As described before, this is the other way of fighting the arachnoids, using other types of Pikmin by luring it down. So this is actually a difficult data file to reach. You kind of have to stand back so the captain doesn't clip the rocks. And we also want to break this to free this fruit. We'll pick up a couple data files and then check in on the yellow Pikmin. Well, this is interesting. We need to get this back to the Drake for analysis ASAP. They did not start carrying this back. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but another change to charging in Deluxe is the minimum number of Pikmin will actually latch onto an object. So for example, when you charge, you'll see all of your Pikmin run over to it, but only the minimum number will actually start to carry it, which is a very interesting change. In some ways, it's actually nice, not having to worry about like distributing numbers exactly the way you want them to be, but alternatively, it can be a little bit annoying if you want a lot of Pikmin to carry something, and then only a small number of Pikmin will actually start to carry it. We're going to leave the other Pikmin here, and we want to cross the water to deal with another new type of enemy over here. These are called Scornets. Fight fire with fire and winged enemies with winged Pikmin. We basically want to charge the winged Pikmin into this squad of Scornets, and they'll gradually pick them off. Be careful because there is water. Also, if a Pikmin gets grabbed, you have a limited time to actually defeat the Scornet before it gets eaten by them. So we have some bridge parts, but I actually want to worry about this wall first. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be a problem, but there is another arachnoid here, so to be on the safe side, I do want to take care of the enemy before. A lot of times the winged Pikmin will carry things straight through where arachnoids are, so be aware of that, especially if you're trying to carry things primarily with winged Pikmin. For other types of Pikmin, it wouldn't be a problem, at least. The upgrade should be getting back to the ship relatively soon as well. Analyzing. Oh, a message from the Drake. Analyzing recovered item. This undersuit adds flame resistance to your spaceware. I'm almost certain I've seen this item for sale before. I think it's a customization option for my spacesuit. Wow, there's even a manual with it. We should make a note of this in the exploration notes. Protects you from fire. Now I can touch fiery objects without getting burnt. How cool! I'll be honest, I feel like by the time you get the Scorch Guard, it's actually not very helpful. We've seen most of the fire that we're going to see. You might have noticed we haven't even used red Pikmin in quite a while, and that's just because we don't run into that much fire in Pikmin 3. In a lot of ways, Pikmin 3 does have a problem with distribution of tasks, I feel. I'll get into this more later on, but it definitely feels like you use specific types of Pikmin more than others. Obviously, trying to balance around 5 different Pikmin types is always a problem in every Pikmin game that has this many Pikmin types. What can we use that board for? Before we worry about the board, I do want to defeat the Arachnoid. There are 2 boards. We want to move the one on the right. If we actually check the radar, you'll notice a ton of enemies under here. if you need a lot of Pikmin, there are a ton of dwarf orange bulborbs under this, but since we actually don't need that many Pikmin, I'm going to leave them alone. Actually, we do need quite a few winged Pikmin. By the time we're done with the Twilight River, I'd like to have about 70 winged Pikmin, which might sound like a lot, but it'll make sense later. This should be the final set of bridge pieces. When we're done with this, we'll round up all the Pikmin and try to collect the fruit in this particular area, and a couple that we missed in the first part of the Twilight River. In general, I actually really like the area design in Pikmin 3. I like how they're kind of segmented, and in terms of like overall area, they actually feel relatively dense. Like, considering how like big the whole area is, having multiple areas makes sense, but it can be a little bit tricky sometimes, especially from personal experience and practice attempts, when you're trying to round up Pikmin at the end of a day, and you basically have a loading screen that you have to sit through, which can actually be really annoying, and has actually caused me to lose Pikmin before. So be aware of that. You definitely want to round up Pikmin sooner rather than later, especially if you're near a loading zone. But yeah, these areas are relatively substantial, actually, and the amount of fruit in each area is also pretty impressive, so there's a lot to find, along with tons of enemies. Since the path is cleared out, we might as well carry back some of the arachnoids and other miscellaneous enemies and pellets in the area. We should have most of the fruits in this area that we can actually reach. This we'll save for later. I'll explain why once we get there. But for now, I think we actually can get this over here without too much fuss. Basically, you have two options. Obviously, the less desirable option is to simply fight 3 orange bulborbs. Again, their gimmick is they wake up more easily, which is not great. I hope they can actually fly this out in time. It looks like we're good to go, but I'm going to drop the fence, just to be on the safe side. And I'm going to wait for it to go back. I don't know if it can eat Pikmin through walls, and I'd rather not find out, to be honest. When we go over to where we set up the shortcut, by the way, actually, let's round up all the crew members and actually toss one over here for a very secret data file. There's actually a screw in this version, again, making it a little bit easier to line this up. Not that it was particularly difficult anyway. You know, something I'm just realizing with all the upgrades, again, I was talking about how the Scorch Guard isn't super helpful at this point in the game. I feel like none of the upgrades really are particularly useful. Like, I don't even use the dodge whistle hardly at all, from a mixture of not remembering I have it because this is the only game with any sort of dodge move, and also just because I feel like when you kind of careen to the side like this, I'm always worried about like Pikmin falling into water or something. So yeah, in general, as many upgrades as there are, and even though they are generally kind of helpful, like not taking as much damage is probably the best upgrade. In general, I do feel like the upgrades in Pikmin 2 were better, though to be fair, like with our whistle range in 3 Deluxe, by default, this is basically like what the whistle upgrade would have done in 3, or in 2, minus the ability to actually whistle Pikmin out of the ground. But in terms of sheer range, yeah, this is basically like when you get the megaphone from the one enemy in the shower room in Pikmin 2. So, next up, we have a stone wall. I want to blow it up with some bombs, and luckily for us, we actually have some winged Pikmin here, so they can very easily reach the bombs. I do wish Pikmin would actually swap tasks more often, so for example, like, if they pick up a bomb, and they're both going after the same bomb, they'll just fly back to you, instead of, like, going for a different bomb. Again, sometimes the animation is actually a problem. I am missing a Pikmin somewhere. It's probably back over here. It's actually by that area. So I guess we should have these two captains head over there to round up the rock Pikmin. So we'll basically position them over here, and then we'll have Alf deal with the stone wall. One thing I actually haven't mentioned is some of the walls actually have different variants in this. But as far as I'm aware, they're mostly aesthetic. So for example, in like Pikmin 1, for example, you actually did have different stone walls with different strengths. But in this particular game, I feel like there are different walls visually, but they don't seem to have different properties. So for example, the stone wall over here actually has like drawings on them, which is actually nice, a nice little visual detail. And yeah, different stone walls will have different markings on them. It doesn't change anything about their properties, but it just helps to like give them a little bit of variety, basically. The other captains should be relatively close to in position by now, so we'll have to kind of scramble here, unfortunately. I'm actually only going to toss the captain to avoid accidentally tossing Pikmin into the water. Even locked on, I do worry sometimes about accidentally missing because of the lock-on disengaging because of being too far away. Again, it's a lot safer than like if you're trying to use a Wii Remote, even when locked on, but still. Overall, that was a very productive day. We actually got a lot of fruit, though there are still plenty of fruits left to find. There's this one in this very conspicuous arena over here, and we also have the pear that was behind the stone wall, but we definitely do not have enough time to round that up. So next time we will be climbing the tree and hopefully collecting the remaining fruits that we can actually reach in this area. New fruit, yay! Knowing this is waiting at the end of the day makes it all worth it. If only I didn't have to share it with the others. This is great! We actually have a little bit of a juice buffer. So, we managed to get our final upgrade, quite a few fruits, and we cleared the path to the tree. We also raised a few more winged Pikmin. Again, we'll definitely try to raise some more tomorrow. This was definitely one of the more hectic days, especially with the lily pad cycles that you can actually see on the replay, which is actually kind of nice. We were mostly in this area, but we were kind of all over the place trying to round up as much as we could here. Today is day 9 of our mission. We've gathered 26 pieces of fruit. This planet boasts a stunning variety of fruits, each one more delicious than the last. Some types are tart enough to pucker your face inside out, while others are sweet enough to pop your eyeballs right out of your head. Those are highly unscientific descriptions of tastiness. That mysterious Hokotation finally contacted us directly, eh? He somehow got through the emergency channel in the coat pad. I'm not comfortable with this. Something here seems odd. We're stranded on an alien planet, Brittany. It's natural for things to be odd. Why, I remember once. Let's go get our cosmic drive key. Sorry, Captain, I didn't mean to interrupt. But perhaps we should see if this Hokutation has our key? If I could have finished my thought, I was about to say the exact same thing. Let's get this Olimar fellow. I'm kind of surprised it took this long to actually get a repeat, so let's try this again. The variety of fruit on this planet is truly impressive. Sometimes I think about making a home here. It might be nice. All the juice you can drink. Do you think people would ever visit this planet on vacation? I don't know, but right now the people of Kopai are depending on us to stay on the task at hand. Yes, of course, Alf. I was just wondering if tourists would like it here. No harm in that. I think that one also was a repeat. There's quite a few bits of dialogue, but unfortunately, yeah, some of it can actually repeat from time to time. At some point, I might not show them as much just because we will exhaust like the unique story-driven ones, especially as we go through the various regions collecting all the fruit we missed. We'll probably get a lot more repeats once we're basically as caught up with the story as we can be. So, next time, we will return to the Twilight River to hopefully find Olimar. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 3 Deluxe.